Hi, my name's Eric, and I'll be reading you selections from the e-edition of today's Cape Cod Times. Today's date is Monday, August 4th of 2025. We'll start with the weather, as we always do, across the Cape and Islands. Today, expect hazy sunshine, a high of 82, with a low of 60 in a clearing overnight tonight. Tomorrow, Tuesday, partly sunny with a high of 82 again, with a low of 61 in the overnight. On Wednesday, pleasant with sunny intervals, a high of 78, a low of 61. On Thursday, times of sun and clouds, a high of 78, a low of 61. And on Friday, mostly sunny and pleasant. So a nice week ahead of us, no rain in store. Hazy sunshine, probably a little muggy today, but then it clears up, and over the later part of the week, it should dry up and be a much more comfortable day. The sun will rise at 5:39 a.m. today. It'll set at 7:55 p.m. We'll have 14 hours and 16 minutes of daylight. The moon will rise at 4:53 p.m. and set at 12:35 a.m. Heading to the front of the paper, where the news and the lottery results used to be kept. We read these lottery results because somebody asked for them. If there's something you would like read to people who are blind or print disabled, you can email us at info@audiblelocalledger.org. And if you miss any of the information that we share in our readings, you can always go to audiblelocalledger.org and click on the Listen tab. It's a fully disability compliant website. Your JAWS should read everything on there, or an expander should allow you to see, if you do have some partial vision, what's going on there. Click on the Listen tab and you'll be able to catch up on a week's worth of our newspaper readings, as well as a wide variety of periodicals and literature with stay up there in perpetuity for your listening pleasure. We also keep our shopping guides up there so you'll know what's on sale at the grocery store. For the latest results of the lottery, and if you ask for them, you certainly deserve those, we go to the masslottery.com website because the Cape Cod Times goes to press too early to give you those. So, for the numbers game of Sunday, August 3rd, 2025, in the midday drawing, the numbers were 7, 8, 7, 2. Again, yesterday's midday drawing of the numbers game, 7, 8, 7, 2. The evening drawing last night of the numbers game for Sunday, August 3rd, 5, 3, 1, 8. Again, last night's results for the numbers game, 5, 3, 1, 8. Good luck to all who play, and remember us if you win. From the cover, there are several photos, I believe, of the Pan Mass Challenge. Yes, that is indeed what it is, and it reads with a huge headline, "A Tradition of Support." And there are photos of people embracing each other and many, many riders. And the caption reads, "Pan Mass Challenge rider Samantha Shapiro of Needham gives Sarah Lissy of Marston's Mills a hug as she stops on August 3rd at the town-owned Bay property in Brewster, once the Cape Cod Sea Camps. Shapiro was a camper and counselor at the camp for years, 10 years. Thousands of cyclists pedaled onto the Cape from Buzzards Bay to the finish line in Provincetown on Sunday, the second day of the challenge. Since 1980, the event has raised millions of dollars for cancer research and treatment at Dana-Farber Cancer Institute and the Jimmy Fund." Then there's another picture of a bunch of riders. Pan Mass Challenge riders Terry Flahave of Bedford, New Hampshire, and teammate Tom Lacey of Oakmont, Pennsylvania make a stop in Brewster to slap hands with supporters at the hedge in front of the town-owned Bay property, once the Cape Cod Sea Camps. The group sang happy birthday to Flahave, who was celebrating his birthday on Sunday. And then the final photo, Pan Mass Challenge riders make their way down Route 6A in Brewster on August 3rd in front of the town-owned Bay property, the former Cape Cod Sea Camps. The two-day event started Saturday, with routes ranging from 25 to 186 miles. One of the longest routes started Saturday in Sturbridge and ended Sunday in Provincetown. The other local story on the front page of today's Cape Cod Times of August 4th, Falmouth confirms second mosquito sample found with West Nile virus by Heather McCarran. As August begins, Falmouth health officials are reporting another detection of West Nile virus in local mosquitoes, the second such finding this summer. A mosquito sample collected on July 29th near Siders Pond tested positive, following the first detection on June 24th near Woods Hole Road, according to Falmouth health agent Scott McGann. The sample was gathered as part of routine surveillance by the Cape Cod Mosquito Control Project in coordination with the Mass Department of Public Health. Another West Nile virus detection in a mosquito sample was collected in Barnstable on July 8th. So far this summer, the July 29th Falmouth detection was only the third on the Cape overall. Health officials emphasize that no human cases of West Nile virus have been reported in Falmouth or statewide. However, the Department of Public Health on July 15th reported one animal case, a goat found to be infected with the virus in Lunenburg in Worcester County. With this evidence of an animal infected with West Nile virus, we know that there are the right conditions and enough disease circulating to result in a human infection, said Public Health Commissioner Robbie Goldstein, MD, PhD, in a DPH statement. Elevated temperatures combined with high humidity increase mosquito activity, he said. We want to remind people that there are easy ways to prevent mosquitoes from biting you, like using mosquito repellent when you're outdoors and being mindful of peak mosquito activity hours, he said. Cape Cod remains listed as a low-risk area for West Nile virus on DPH-generated risk maps, which are frequently updated. The Cape is also a low-risk area for Eastern equine encephalitis, EEE, another illness that mosquitoes can spread. The DPH has reported 2 detections of EEE in mosquitoes so far this summer, in Belchertown on July 21st and Bridgewater on July 22nd, but no human or animal EEE infections have been reported. Falmouth health officials are working closely with a regional mosquito control team and the state to keep an eye on mosquito-borne illnesses. The location of the positive sample is routinely treated by the CCMCP and will continue to be an area of focus throughout the mosquito season, the health department noted in an advisory that was issued on July 31st. Mosquito season in Massachusetts runs from late spring through early fall. On Cape Cod, mosquitoes start becoming active in May, with the most activity happening in July and August. As temperatures cool in the fall, mosquito numbers begin to drop. This pattern matches the timing of the recent West Nile virus detections. West Nile virus is a mosquito-borne illness that mainly spreads through bites from infected mosquitoes. It's often asymptomatic or mild, but it can occasionally lead to more serious health complications, especially in people over age 50 and those with weakened immune systems, according to the state. Last year, state health officials recorded 19 human cases of West Nile virus, at least one of which was traced to exposure in Barnstable County. Certain animals, especially birds and horses, can also get sick from the virus. Wild birds, like crows and jays, are especially vulnerable, according to the state. Horses can develop serious illness if infected, but vaccines are available for them. Pets like dogs and cats are rarely infected, but it's still a good idea to protect them by keeping them indoors during peak mosquito hours and removing standing water around your home. Mosquitoes that potentially carry West Nile virus are active at dusk and after dark, the agency notes on its website, so precautions should be taken to avoid mosquitoes at these times. The species that transmit the disease, according to the DPH, prefer to lay their eggs in man-made containers like tires, tarps, gutters, and children's toys that hold water after it rains. Residents can reduce the mosquito population by emptying standing water on their property. Other precautions include using bug spray with DEET, picaridin, or other EPA-approved ingredients. Follow the label instructions, and note that DEET's not recommended for infants under 2 months of age, and oil of lemon eucalyptus should not be used on children under age 3. Additionally, permethrin products are intended for treating clothing and gear, not skin. Wear long sleeves and pants when you're outside, especially around dawn or dusk when mosquitoes are most active. and fix window and door screens to keep mosquitoes out of your home. For continuous updates on mosquito-borne illnesses and more information about prevention, you can visit the Massachusetts Department of Public Health mosquito information page at mass.gov/DPH/mosquito. Unemployment claims in Massachusetts increased last week. Initial filings for unemployment benefits in Massachusetts rose last week compared with the week prior, the U.S. Department of Labor said on Thursday. New jobless claims, which is a proxy for layoffs, increased to 5,213 in the week ending July 26th. That's up from 4,627 the week before, the Labor Department said. U.S. unemployment claims rose to 218,000 last week. That's up 1,000 claims from 217,000 the week prior on a seasonally adjusted basis. Vermont saw the largest percentage increase in weekly claims, with claims jumping by 110%. Kentucky, meanwhile, saw the largest percentage drop in new claims, with claims dropping by 78.8%. From the Cape and Islands section, as we keep it local here at the Audible Local Ledger, Mashpee Wampanoag Tribe celebrates game-changing Taunton Casino by Emma Rindlisbacher of the Taunton Daily Gazette. The Mashpee Wampanoag Tribe's casino in Taunton has expanded again. On Monday, July 28th of 2025, the Taunton Casino launched several events to celebrate a game-changing expansion, according to a written statement from the Mashpee Wampanoag Tribe. July 28th was also the starting date of the casino's new expanded hours, which see the casino open 7 days a week from 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. Our expanded casino floor isn't just about more games, it's about elevating the experience, the statement said. The new space will include cutting-edge electronic games, including Buffalo and Ultimate Fire Link. We're also raising the bar for gaming in Massachusetts with new Aries coin pushers and Blueberry games, exclusive to First Light in this region. The casino first opened around January of 2025 with 10 slot machines, and since then the number of slot machines has rapidly increased and the hours have expanded. In May of 2025, construction on an additional wing to the structure was visible at the casino site. The new addition to the casino that was under construction in May was opened to the public on July 28th. What events are at the casino? On Monday, July 28th, the casino hosted a Money Monday event, where casino patrons could enter into a money machine where they would attempt to catch bills of money for a short period of time. On Wednesday, July 30th, the casino was planning to host a Winners Wednesday event, where the first 100 guests after 8 p.m. will receive $10 in free play that they can use to play games at the casino. There is one obituary in today's Cape Cod Times of August 4th, a Monday. It's of Andrea Kirsten Stanley of Chatham, who at the age of 82 passed away peacefully at home on Monday, July 21st, surrounded by her loving children. She was the beloved wife of the late Robert W. Stanley. Known to many as Kirsten, her life was defined by her deep love of family and her vibrant spirit that lit up every gathering. Raised in Winthrop, Kirsten was an accomplished sailor and spirited competitor. At the age of 17, Kirsten moved to Nova Scotia to attend Acadia University, where she met her future husband, Bob. Kirsten graduated in May of 1964 with joint honors in biology and chemistry, marking only the second time in the university's history such an honor had been granted. After graduation, Kirsten and Bob began their life together in Arvida, QC, before settling in Montreal to raise their family. In retirement, they moved to Cape Cod, fulfilling their lifelong dream of living in Chatham. Kirsten survived by her 3 devoted children and many family and friends. The Stanley family would like to express their deepest gratitude to Erica, Fernanda, Tammy, and Eduarda, and to the Broadreach Hospice team for their compassionate and dedicated care. A funeral mass will be held on Friday, August 22nd at 10 a.m. at Holy Redeemer Church, located at 57 Highland Avenue in Chatham. A private family interment will follow. And that concludes the obituaries in today's Cape Cod Times. Moving to regional news, big plans revealed for former Bose offices in Stowe by Tom Benoit of the Metro West Daily News. In Stowe, Metro West will soon become home for the U.S. National Training Center for the Olympic and Paralympic sport of fencing, along with a multi-use sports and education complex that will educate and train young athletes. Masters Academy International is set to break ground at a former site housing Bose offices at 688 Great Road, that's Route 117. Officials from the town and Masters Academy International appeared Thursday, July 31st, inside the closed offices to share information about the new school. This significant development not only elevates our town's profile, but also brings with it a legacy of honor, discipline, and sporting excellence that will inspire generations to come, said Town Administrator Denise Demkowski, adding that the realization of this project would not have been possible without the steadfast support and cooperation of our state partners. Bose announced it would leave Stowe, a Middlesex County community of about 7,000 residents, in 2021 to consolidate its employees at its Framingham headquarters. During a special town meeting later that year, residents approved a zoning change to allow for the private board school. According to Demkowski, State Rep. Kate Hogan, a Democrat from Stowe, led the town's involvement with the process, along with Lieutenant Governor Kim Driscoll. The town administrator also stated that the school will receive $2.85 million in tax credits through a program that offers such credits for job creation commitments. The $2.85 million in tax credits sends a clear message. Massachusetts is serious about supporting ventures that create jobs and showcase our state on the international stage, Select Board Chair Megan Birch McMichael read from a statement on behalf of Hogan. Approximately $83 million will be invested to redevelop the site into a multi-sports and education complex, along with becoming home for the nation's first national training center for Olympic and Paralympic fencing. USA Fencing will become the first national governing body to unveil a comprehensive academy model and to feature its national training center in Massachusetts. On top of fencing, Masters Academy International, co-founded by Peter and Chris Masters, former collegiate hockey players and co-owners of the Marlborough-based Boston Junior Bruins, is set to renovate the more than 400,000 square foot building into learning hubs and student dormitories. Turf soccer, lacrosse, and baseball fields are planned for the 40 acres of cleared, flat land. MAI is partnering with London-based Cognita Schools to bring global education expertise to the new school. Richard Odell, CEO of MAI, said classes are expected to begin at the start of the 2026-27 school year by opening half of the building. Once the school outgrows it, the other half will be renovated. Initially, MAI will offer training in hockey, lacrosse, soccer, baseball, basketball, fencing, and esports, with more to follow. Tuition is valued at $72,000 for boarding students and $54,000 for day students, according to Odell. And he's looking at teaching up to 700 students within 5 years. What MAI is about is capitalizing on the interest and the passion of young students, whether they're middle schoolers or high schoolers, post-grads, whether they're from Massachusetts, around the country, or around the world. We're here to give them an opportunity to be in a space where they can grow in every aspect of their life, Odell said. Along with students majoring in sports, the school will also offer non-playing majors, allowing students to study sports medicine, sports psychology, sports marketing, and sports broadcasting beginning in 9th grade. Odell said demolition is planned for next month, with renovations set to begin this fall. Birch McMichael said town officials are excited that the complex is coming to Stowe. The vision of the MAI team to bring an elite sporting academy to the Northeast is only going to be amplified with the inclusion of USA Fencing as they train future Olympians in our backyard, she said. The Select Board Chair, added that along with offering week-long sports camp scholarships to students from Stowe, MAI is also committed to contributing to the town's sidewalk fund and provide tuition for a non-boarding Stowe student each year. We believe this project will serve as a catalyst for economic development in Stowe and the surrounding region, Birch McMichael said. Visiting families will need lodging, dining options, students will require access to everyday resources, and spectators attending events will see places to shop and eat. Demkowski, who has served as Stowe's town administrator for nearly 5 years, noted that other proposed projects would have demolished these buildings and sent tons of materials to our landfills. But Peter and Chris Masters recognized the potential of this property and embraced the economic and environmental advantages of adapted reuse, Demkowski said, reading from a prepared statement. And since our goal is to keep it local and we've finished all the local news coverage in our half-hour reading of the Cape Cod Times, we'll move to sports. Local sports, the Cape Cod Baseball League. Pitching, hitting, fielding. Caden McDonald does it all for Wareham. You don't see it often outside of maybe Los Angeles Dodgers superstar Shohei Ohtani. This is written by Adam Kirkchin, by the way. That is, a player who pitches but also plays in the field. If you've been paying attention to the Wareham Gatemen this summer, you're seeing someone else do it. That's Caden McDonald of Florida, and he's been doing both successfully. Over the course of the season, McDonald has a 3-1 record with a 3.51 ERA and a 1.32 WHIP. At the plate, McDonald's batting .278 with 6 home runs and 18 RBIs. He has a .418 on-base percentage while slugging .519. That comes out to a .937 OPS. He plays first base and also acts at times as a designated hitter. In other words, McDonald is doing a little bit of everything and doing it well for a Wareham team that leads the East Division. I've just been doing both since I've been playing baseball, McDonald said. I feel like everybody does both at some point. I just wanted to keep doing it, and I was just good enough to keep doing it and going throughout the way. So here we are. McDonald only pitched at Florida this past season, so Wareham manager Ryan Smith worked with McDonald in getting his timing down. And ever since, Smith felt fine with giving McDonald the full workload. It's hard to just come out here and hit, especially if you haven't hit all year, Smith said. But once he took a bunch of BP and did a bunch of early work and kind of got himself conditioned to swing enough, his month of July has been something special. And again, he's doing it on both sides of the ball. He's not only helping us offensively in the middle of our order, but he's also helping us on the mound, too. It's not easy to prepare to excel for both tasks. McDonald makes it work. He said it's basically a bunch of body maintenance to make sure he can prepare for either when the time calls for it. You got to get your arm care in no matter when you throw. Sometimes that's hard when you're playing the field or you got to worry about hitting, McDonald said. You can't just get any days off to let your arm or your body recover. It's kind of tough. A lot of it happens in the gym. You got to keep your body in shape. It's prioritizing body maintenance when you have time for it. McDonald is showing that, as difficult as it may seem, it can be done at a high level. You would think that sharing the same last name, Kent Schmidt and Carl Schmidt of the Falmouth Commodores, might be related. Schmidt is not necessarily an uncommon last name, but it's rare enough that you might think the two are related. Well, Kent, from Georgia Tech, and Carl, from California, are not related, for the record. Doesn't mean the two don't have a little fun with it. Oh, of course, Carl said, all the time. According to Carl, the two have had some success as pranksters. It's an ongoing joke we have now that we're brothers at this point, Carl said. People sold on it for sure. Kent likes being in on the joke with Carl. It just becomes a way to break up the monotony of the daily baseball schedule. No, it's fun, Kent said. It's a good time with him. Falmouth Commodores manager Jared Saltalamacchia is happy to see it. He wants his players to be having fun. Otherwise, it can take the fun out of the game. I think it's necessary in anything you do, Saltalamacchia said. You can't take things too seriously. These guys just got done playing 50 or 60 games, and then they're out here for 40 more. This is the most they've ever played. They need to have fun and enjoy it. Otherwise, it becomes a job, and it becomes no fun. Other than pulling pranks and having fun, both Schmidts have developed well this summer. Saltalamacchia has seen each player take strides in the league. I think Kent's made huge strides from where he started from, Saltalamacchia said. Coming out here with a wood bat, maybe some guys get a little bit timid and didn't realize it was an every other day type first few weeks, so he thought he was getting benched. It's like, no, you need rest. Everybody's got to play. He started swinging it, and I couldn't take him out of the lineup. He's come a long way and been our most consistent guy all year. And Carl is like the glue of the team, keeping everybody loose and happy and fun. Without those guys, this would be a long, long 10 weeks. And also in Cape League action, Harwich nearly pulls off a no-hitter versus Brewster by Adam Kirkjian. The Harwich Mariners put together quite the pitching performance in Saturday's game against the Brewster Whitecaps. Harwich's Pierce Friedman of Maine and Cohen Fieser of Texas Christian combined on a no-hitter that lasted until the ninth inning. The Mariners, who are 21-15-3, didn't complete the no-hitter but did win the game 7-1 over Brewster, who's 21-17-1. Brewster's Carson Tinney of Notre Dame homered to left center to start the ninth inning for the Whitecaps, Tinney's first homer of the summer, to end the no-hit bid. Friedman and Fraser combined to allow just that one hit, 2 walks with 7 strikeouts. Harwich scored a run in the bottom of the first inning. A Matt Conti of Wake Forest base hit scored Patrick Fultz of Wright State. The Mariners scored 3 runs at the bottom of the second inning. Sam Harris of Duke singled to plate Ryan Gerety of Northeastern. Ernie Echevarria of Penn scored on a wild pitch, and then Harris scored on another wild pitch. Harwich struck again in the bottom of the 7th inning. Gerety tripled to bring around Tanner Marsh of Liberty, Nico Brini of Wofford, and Fultz. Also in Cape Cod Baseball League action, it was the Bourne Braves 7, the Cotuit Kettleers 4. The Braves, who are 19-18-2, took an early lead and then hung on to beat the Kettleers, who were 16-20-3. Bourne broke out with 4 runs in the top of the second inning. Sebastian Mexico of Louisiana Tech scored on a bases-loaded walk. Cade Lewis of Wake Forest singled to score Jason Torres of Alabama. Drew Wires of Bryant scored on a fielder's choice. Cal Sefcik of Cincinnati then singled to score Ryan Cooney of Oregon. The Braves scored another run in the top of the third inning. Gavin Kelly of West Virginia singled to plate Mark Cotrani. Bourne scored again in the top of the ninth. Mexico doubled to score Braden Holcomb of Vanderbilt and Sefcik. Cotuit scored 2 runs in the bottom of the fourth. Jack Natilli of Cincinnati scored on a balk, and Landon Beaver of Alabama Birmingham singled to score Nolan Stevens of Mississippi State. The Kettleers scored in the bottom of the 7th when Taggart Tyson of Louisville came home on a wild pitch. Cameron Johnson of Wichita State scored on a fielder's choice. It was the Chatham Anglers 7, Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox 4. The Anglers, who were 16-20-3, fell behind early, then rallied back past the Red Sox, who were 19-17-3. It was the Falmouth Commodores 5 and the Wareham Gatemen 2. The Commodores, 16-22-1, last place team in the West, topped the Gatemen 19-20, the first place team in the West. And it was the Orleans Firebirds 7, Hyannis Harbor Hawks 6 in 10 innings. The Firebirds, 22-15-2, were down to their last out in the bottom of the 9th, but scored there, and then again in the bottom of the 10th to come away with a win over the Harbor Hawks. And with that, we've come to the end of our reading of the Cape Cod Times for today, Monday, August 4th of 2025. This is your reader, Eric, saying be well, be safe, look after each other. Remember our veterans, especially those we've lost recently. Bye for now.